I'm a 26-year-old guy, quiet by nature, observant, the kind of person who remembers details other people forget. This is about a school reunion, a girl I didn't recognize until it was too late, and how trying to do the right thing slowly turned me into the villain of someone else's story. The reunion was supposed to be harmless. Just a rented hall, old photos taped to the walls, cheap drinks, and people pretending they hadn't changed. I almost didn't go. Reunions feel like emotional gambling. You either leave nostalgic or disappointed. Sometimes both. I showed up late. Hoodie, jeans, staying near the back. I recognized faces faster than they recognized me. Some people age gracefully. Others age loudly. That's when I noticed her. She was standing near the refreshment table, laughing too hard at something someone said. Confident posture. Comfortable. Familiar in a way I couldn't place. I remember thinking, she feels important, without knowing why. We made eye contact for half a second. Nothing sparked. No lightning. No memory rush. Just strangers. A while later, I ended up next to her by accident. Same table. Same bowl of snacks. She glanced at me, smiled politely. "Which section were you in?" she asked. "B," I said. She paused. "Same." That got my attention. We started talking. Small stuff at first. Teachers. Who moved away? Who didn't? The usual reunion script. Her voice had this rhythm that felt old. Like a song I knew but couldn't name. Then she said something that cracked the door. "Do you remember how we used to get in trouble for talking too much?" I looked at her properly this time. Third standard memories surfaced slowly. 2 kids sharing lunch. Passing notes. Sitting together during assembly. A girl who used to correct my spelling and steal my eraser. I said her childhood nickname without thinking. Her smile froze, then widened. "Oh my God," she said softly. "It's you." The room didn't spin. Time didn't stop. But something shifted, like a shelf in my head finally clicking into place. We stood there laughing, filling in gaps, talking over each other. It felt easy. Too easy. Like we just paused the conversation and resumed it years later. That's when the first warning sign appeared. A guy walked up, arms sliding around her waist like it belonged there. Casual. Possessive. "Hey," he said, looking at me, not smiling. "Who's this?" She introduced me. We were friends back in school. His grip tightened slightly. Not enough to make a scene. Enough to make a point. "I'm her boyfriend," he said, like it was a title. I nodded. Step back. That should have been the end. It wasn't. Over the next hour, she kept finding reasons to talk to me. Sitting closer, laughing at things that weren't funny, asking about my life in detail. Not polite detail, curious detail. At one point she said, quietly, "I always wondered what happened to you." That sentence sat heavy. I tried to stay respectful. I really did. But emotions don't care about good intentions. The more we talked, the clearer it became that this wasn't nostalgia. This was unfinished. Later that night, she found me outside, away from the noise. "I shouldn't be doing this," she said. I didn't ask what this was. "You're not," I replied. She smiled sadly. "You're still like that." That's when she told me things she hadn't told anyone else. About feeling stuck. About how her relationship looked good on the outside. About how decisions were made for her, not with her. I didn't touch her. Didn't cross lines. But something crossed anyway. Hope. Over the next few weeks, we stayed in contact. Messages turned longer. Calls turned later. She'd talk about arguments with her boyfriend that felt wrong. Controlling. Subtle guilt. Emotional pressure disguised as concern. I started noticing patterns. He monitored her social media. Asked for screenshots. Showed up unexpectedly. Made jokes about her being lucky he put up with her independence. One night she said, "Sometimes I feel like I need permission to breathe." That sentence changed how I saw everything. I didn't want to be the guy waiting in the shadows. I told her straight, "I'm developing feelings. I won't interfere, but I can't pretend they aren't there." She went quiet, then said, "I need time." Time turned into tension. Her boyfriend started showing up in conversations more. Not directly. Indirect warnings. Comments about loyalty. About people who meddle. Then he messaged me. Friendly tone. Sharp intent. "Hey man, appreciate you being there for her. Just don't cross boundaries." I replied calmly, I haven't. He sent a thumbs up, then blocked me. A week later, she stopped responding as much. When she did, her tone had changed. Guarded. Careful. Then she said something that felt rehearsed. He thinks you're trying to break us up. I said, I never asked you to leave him. She didn't deny it. That's when I realized this wasn't just about feelings anymore. Someone was controlling the narrative, and I was about to be painted as something I wasn't. The shift didn't happen loudly. It was quiet, strategic, almost polite. That's what made it dangerous. She stopped calling. Messages became delayed, then short, then carefully worded like someone else was reading over her shoulder. When I asked if everything was okay, she replied, I just need peace right now. That word again. Peace. The kind people say when they're being worn down, not comforted. A week later, I heard from someone else. A mutual classmate messaged me out of nowhere. Casual tone. Fake concern. Hey man, just checking, are you okay? Things seem messy. I asked what he meant. He sent screenshots. Not from her phone. From a group chat I wasn't part of. My name highlighted. Conversations twisted. My messages cropped. Context removed. According to the story being told, I wasn't an old friend who reconnected. I was an obsessed guy who couldn't accept boundaries. A threat. A problem that needed handling. The boyfriend was behind it. I knew that immediately. This wasn't emotional. This was tactical. I confronted her. Not aggressively. Calm. Direct. Are you telling people I'm harassing you? Long pause. I didn't say that, she replied. But I didn't correct him either. That was worse. I asked her why. She said, he gets angry when he feels disrespected. I didn't want things to escalate. So instead, she let them escalate in my direction. I told her I was stepping back. For real this time. No contact. No late-night calls. No emotional safety net. I needed to protect myself. She didn't stop me. 2 days later, the boyfriend sent another message. Different tone now. You need to back off completely. She's uncomfortable. I replied once. Just once. Then she can tell me that herself. 10 minutes later, she did. Short message. Cold. Please don't contact me anymore. I'm choosing my relationship. That should have been closure. It wasn't. Because choosing him didn't stop him. That's when the dirty tricks started. First, a rumor at work. Someone I barely knew asked me why I was that guy who goes after taking women. I don't gossip. I don't overshare. So when that label landed on me, it stuck. Silence looks like guilt when lies are loud. Then came a public post. A vague social media story. No names. Just enough detail. Some people don't understand boundaries. Manipulation isn't love. People connected dots for her. I didn't respond. That was my first mistake. He took that silence as weakness. He filed a complaint. Not criminal. Civil. Claimed I was harassing him and interfering in his relationship. He wanted a restraining order. In the U.S., you can file for one without proof. Proof is needed later. But the initial filing alone is enough to scare most people into backing off. I got served papers at my apartment. That's when something inside me hardened. I hired a lawyer the next morning. Not cheap. Not friendly. Efficient. First thing he said, do not contact either of them again. Let them make mistakes. So I did something else. I documented everything. Messages. Call logs. Dates. Times. Screenshots with metadata intact. I requested my phone records from my carrier. I downloaded copies of posts before they were deleted. I spoke to people quietly. Not to convince. To collect. Turns out, entitlement makes people sloppy. The boyfriend had messaged multiple people bragging about handling me. Joked about scaring me off. One message literally said, paperwork shuts people up. That message changed everything. At the hearing, he played the victim. Calm voice. Concerned boyfriend, protecting his partner. His lawyer leaned into the narrative hard. Then my lawyer spoke. He introduced exhibits. Screenshots. Timelines. Contradictions. The judge asked questions. The boyfriend interrupted twice. The judge didn't like that. Then my lawyer asked her, yes, her, to speak. She hesitated. Looked at him. That hesitation was noticed. She admitted she never asked for a restraining order. That she never told me to stop until after pressure. That she felt caught in the middle. The judge denied the order. But that wasn't the win. The win came after. Because filing a false claim has consequences. We countersued. Civil harassment. Defamation. Emotional distress. Not dramatic. Not theatrical. Just precise. That's when the boyfriend panicked. He tried to settle. Quietly. Offered to drop everything. If I did. I didn't. Because this was never about getting the girl. This was about being painted as a villain for refusing to play a role I never auditioned for. And I wasn't done yet.